When I saw her, I was just stunned. She was almost 6 feet tall at her age, at 14. I really just wanted to photograph her.
She had presence, tall, thin, an extraordinary apparition.
She was so striking, she would literally stop traffic on Fifth Avenue.
Supermodel, actress, famed designer Adele Rustine created a mannequin in her likeness. She was the first Black woman to grace the cover of British Vogue.
Donyale Luna was the first Black supermodel, yet today she is largely forgotten. Many recognize names like Naomi Campbell, Tyra Banks, and Beverly Johnson as pioneers in the modeling world, but few know the name Donyale Luna. She was the first Black woman to grace the cover of British Vogue, an icon who captivated designers, photographers, and artists. Yet her life was riddled with challenges: racial identity struggles, industry discrimination, and personal turmoil. Her influence was undeniable, and her legacy, though overlooked, shaped the future of Black models in fashion. Today, we uncover her life, career, struggles, and impact on the industry. Donyale Luna was born Peggy Ann Freeman on August 31, 1945, in Detroit, Michigan. She was raised in a working-class African-American family. Her parents, Nathaniel and Peggy Freeman, had moved from Georgia as part of the Great Migration, seeking better opportunities in the North. Luna grew up in a turbulent household. Her father was abusive toward her mother, and young Donyale and her sisters witnessed domestic violence firsthand. To escape her harsh reality, she created an alternate persona. By the time she was a teenager, she had changed her name to Donyale George Luna and often fabricated stories about her background. Some accounts say she claimed to be of Mexican, Egyptian, or Irish descent, rejecting the African-American identity she was born into. Her sister later stated, "She lived in a wonderland, a dream. She created fantasies about the origins of her life." This pattern would follow her throughout her career. Luna's striking beauty and towering height, nearly 6 feet tall, made her stand out. Her large, almond-shaped eyes, flawless dark skin, and statuesque figure made her the embodiment of an otherworldly beauty that the fashion industry had never seen before. In 1963, Luna's life changed forever when she was discovered by photographer David McCabe. McCabe, who was in Detroit on assignment for Ford Motor Company, spotted her and was immediately mesmerized. He later recalled, "She was the most extraordinary-looking girl I had ever seen." McCabe took her photos and encouraged her to move to New York City. Initially, her mother resisted, hoping her daughter would pursue a more traditional career like nursing. But Luna was determined. She convinced her mother to let her move to New York, where she would live with her aunt. Once in New York, McCabe introduced Luna to Harper's Bazaar editor Nancy White and legendary fashion photographer Richard Avedon. White quickly signed Luna to an exclusive modeling contract, a rare feat for a Black woman in the 1960s. Avedon, a renowned photographer who had worked with icons like Audrey Hepburn and Marilyn Monroe, saw potential in Luna and took her under his wing as her manager. In 1964, Luna landed her first professional modeling job with Mademoiselle magazine. She began making waves in the fashion industry, walking in shows and appearing in editorials. However, as a Black model in a predominantly white industry, she faced severe racism and resistance. In 1965, Luna was set to make history. Harper's Bazaar decided to feature her on its cover, a bold move at a time when no major American fashion magazine had prominently showcased a Black model. However, the racial climate of the 1960s was still deeply segregated. Instead of photographing Luna, the magazine published an illustrated sketch of her with her features obscured. This decision was intentional. The fear was that featuring a visibly Black model on the cover would cause backlash among white readers and advertisers. Though the cover was a milestone, it also exposed the industry's unwillingness to fully embrace diversity. Despite the controversy, Luna's career continued to rise. In 1966, she graced the cover of British Vogue, making history as the first black woman to do so. Editor Beatrix Miller defended the choice, stating that Luna had bite and personality, which made her stand out. This was a groundbreaking moment for representation in fashion. However, American magazines still refused to fully embrace black beauty. Even Vogue's American edition waited 8 more years before featuring a black woman, Beverly Johnson, in 1974. Luna wasn't just a model. She was an artist and an actress. She became a muse for Salvador Dali and Andy Warhol, appearing in Warhol's experimental films. She starred in Donyale Luna, Camp in 1965, and Skidoo in 1968, her only mainstream Hollywood film. Despite her success, Luna struggled with acceptance. She was admired in Europe, where she found greater opportunities and respect. She permanently relocated to London, where she became a fixture in the swinging 60s scene, mingling with celebrities like the Beatles, Mick Jagger, and Gene Shrimpton. While Luna's professional life flourished, her personal life was tumultuous. She struggled with drug addiction, particularly heroin and LSD, which was rampant in the 1960s counterculture movement. Many who knew her described her as eccentric and detached from reality. Her identity issues continued to plague her. She often denied being black, telling the New York Times in 1968, "If it brings about more jobs for Mexicans, Chinese, Indians, Negroes, groovy. It could be good, it could be bad, I couldn't care less." Her distancing from black identity alienated her from the African American community. By the early 1970s, Luna's career began to decline. Her unpredictable behavior, fueled by drug use, made her unreliable. Some designers and editors hesitated to work with her. In 1976, Luna married Italian photographer Luigi Casanica, and they had a daughter, Dream. For a brief moment, she seemed to have found stability. However, her struggles with addiction persisted. On May 17, 1979, Luna died of a heroin overdose at the age of 33, leaving behind her young daughter and a legacy that had been largely forgotten. Despite her tragic end, Luna's impact on the modeling industry is undeniable. Beverly Johnson, the first black woman on American Vogue's cover, once said, "Donyale Luna made it possible for models like me and others." In recent years, there has been a resurgence of interest in her story. Actress Zendaya paid tribute to Luna in an Essence magazine shoot, and Luna's daughter, Dream Casanica, has worked to keep her mother's legacy alive. In an industry where diversity is still a battle, Luna's contributions must not be overlooked. She paved the way for black models in high fashion, and despite the obstacles she faced, she remains an icon of beauty, defiance, and resilience. Do you think Donyale Luna deserves more recognition? Would you watch a biopic about her life? Who do you think could portray her in a film? Let us know in the comments. If you enjoyed this deep dive, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more content.